and gentlemen, and welcome to Faces and Heels, your podcast for professional wrestling here on the KB Radio Network. How is everybody doing? This has been a very eventful week for the WWE, wouldn't you say? This has been game changing, to say the least. It's been. Well, one thing in particular, there's no point holding it off to the end. Of course, CM Punk, the cult of personality himself, is back in the WWE. Hell has officially frozen over. This is something that I never would have thought in a million years. Now, I know leading up to Survivor Series that there was a lot of rumors, a lot of reports that CM Punk was going to return and all this here. It sounded good, but I never pictured it. I just could not bring myself to believe that CM Punk would return to WWE because of how it left off, how this relationship left off. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't as bad as his exit from AEW, but it was pretty bad. The man got fired on his wedding day. It was you know what I'm saying? It was that bad. He ended up suing them, and it was so much trash talk for 10 years. This hasn't stopped. Ever since he left, WWE has made their comments on air, live on air. CM Punk has made his comments through the media, wherever. It was just ugly, man. But ugly. And that's when he left. Not to mention when he was there, everybody remembers the infamous pipe bomb segment when he just tore into everybody. Vince McMahon, Triple H, Stephanie. I mean, he went off. It was a beautiful thing. And, you know, the dude just gravitates to trouble. He's a troubled character. And it showed in AEW. But he came back. He came back in probably one of the greatest returns in WWE history. I mean, I can't even think of one that exciting. I know when the Hardy Boys came back at WrestleMania a couple of years ago, that was nice. When the NWO came out at No Way Out, what that was about 15 years ago, that was nice. I can't think of anything else, but even this here out trumps that. And I think it was because of the atmosphere. You was in Chicago. You had a pretty decent pay-per-view. Wasn't the greatest, but it was decent. And right at the end, when you think that, okay, it's not going to happen, and it actually happened. Well, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to go through Survivor Series. I know normally we do a recap and reaction right after Survivor Series, but so much was going on emotionally that I just could not do the show. I had to wait a couple of days to do a recap and reaction to Survivor Series War Games, which took place in Chicago this past Saturday. I actually enjoyed this pay-per-view. Like I said, it wasn't the greatest. I'm normally hyped up for Survivor Series because this is one of the big four, you know, and the big four is Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and of course, WrestleMania. Those are the big four in the WWE. And just about 2-3 years ago, they incorporated War Games, a gimmick match that was created by the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Yes, the father of Cody Rhodes. And I like that. I like that match. I love War Games. I also love Survivor Series. You know, the traditional Survivor Series when you have the teams going up against each other. Now, theoretically, it makes sense to combine War Games and Survivor Series. It makes perfect sense. But I actually loved the change that they did a few years ago when you had the brand split and you had SmackDown versus Raw. I love that concept because it was fun. it was something fun about that, territorial about that, you know. Uh, who had the better brand? Was it SmackDown or was it Raw? And then they even threw in NXT a few years back, and that was a nice little touch to it. You had Intercontinental Champion going up against the U.S. Champion. You had the WWE Champion going up against the Universal Champion. The SmackDown Tag Team Champions versus the Raw Tag Team Champions, and so on and so forth. I like that about it. I love that little competition to see who will come out on top. And the weeks leading up to it, you'll see Raw invade SmackDown, and then SmackDown would invade Raw. It was a whole build up. It was fun to watch. And with the addition to War Games and turning this into a War Games pay-per-view in a sense, you don't have that anymore. They just put teams together and they go in the ring. And now, like I said, I enjoyed the pay-per-view. I enjoyed these factions that were a part of both War Games matches, the women's and the men's. But it was just a little bit missing from previous Survivor Series pay-per-views or premium live events, as they called today. But you had 5 matches in this pay-per-view or premium live event. I always mess that up. I'm so used to saying a pay-per-view, but premium live event, and 2 of which, as I mentioned before, were War Games matches. And the first one kicked off the show, and it was the women's War Game match. And this was a way to open up a show. I love WWE premium live events as of late, because normally the first match is normally the best match. It has been that way for I would say about 5-6 years maybe, ever since Triple H took over creative or been a part of creative. This goes back to when he was in NXT. NXT pay-per-views or premium live events did the exact same thing. They always opened up with a banger. And so I'm more excited for the first match than I am for the actual main event in most premium live events as of late. It's crazy, but it's true. And this premium live event was no exception. In the women's War Games match, we had Damage Control, which consists of Bayley, Asuka, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane, going up against the team of Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Shotzi, and the man Becky Lynch. This was a banger. This was a banger. The women brought it. The women brought it in this match. It was so fun. And Io Sky has been a part of every single women's War Games match since they brought it over to WWE, even the one that was in NXT. And every time she takes it up another level, and she did in here. Io Sky, despite the language barrier, which would be a reason why you wouldn't put the belt on her, because she has no promos, but that's why she's with Becky. But I mean, not Becky, Bayley, and that covers that. But her skills in the ring is without a doubt some of the best in women's wrestling. I am a huge Io Sky mark. I am. I love her in the ring. She's a beast. I mean, think back to Puerto Rico. I think that was Backlash when she took on Bianca Belair. What a match. And that Puerto Rico turned on Bianca. They were cheering for Io. And I understood. I want Io to win the championship. And eventually she did. I also enjoy Kairi Sane. I'm happy to see her return. She returned at the last premium live event, Crown Jewel, which I didn't recap and review. And the reason I didn't review that one was, when they do the Crown Jewel premium live events, it's in the middle of the day on a Saturday. And it's hard for me to really focus in on it, and it's so long. Crown Jewels is so long. It's WrestleMania length. It is long, and I just could not find the time to do it. So I just did not do it for Crown Jewel. But Kairi Sane did return in that premium live event and teamed up with Damage Control, but it didn't help him on Saturday night. The team of Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, who did a moonsault off the top of the cage. Beautiful moonsault, by the way. Shotzi and the man Becky Lynch came out victorious. Shotzi was kind of the odd woman out here. I really didn't see her fitting in this team, but I must say, I was impressed with her on Saturday night. I'm not the biggest Shotzi fan. I like her character, but I'm not over with her. And this helped. This match helped. She was there for a reason. She did her job. She wasn't there to wow anybody, and that was fine. she was fine. But yes, Bianca, Charlotte, Shotzi, and Becky defeated Damage Control to win the women's War Games match. This match gets 3 3/4 stars. I thought this was a really good match. It went on for 33 minutes and 35 seconds. Perfect length. I enjoyed it, but I will say I wish Damage Control would have won. And it's not because I didn't like the babyface team. I need Damage Control to win something. you know, Damage Control has been suffering, man. You got to sit back sometimes and wonder, why are they a faction? They are not dominating nothing other than the fact Io Sky has the championship, the women's championship. Other than that, nobody else wins in this faction, and it's frustrating to be honest. And so I was kind of hoping that Damage Control would win it, but it was a nice outcome. I enjoyed the match overall. Our second match for Survivor Series War Games this year was a singles match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, where the champion Gunther took on The Miz for said championship. And this was a match, honest to God, I was planning for my bathroom break. I was kind of mad that this was so early in the night. I was hoping that it was the fourth match or something, down the card, but it was the second. And I was like, man, I do not want to see this for something. And I love Gunther. And I just don't want to see this match. From the moment they booked this, I didn't see where this was going to be entertaining in the least bit. Boy, was I wrong. The Miz, I'm sorry, sir. Miz did an excellent job in this match. Gunther was Gunther. It's really nothing I can say about Gunther. What accolades can I give him that hasn't been given to him already? The dude is a pro. He is a true athlete. He is an all-around amazing professional wrestler. And so it's really nothing else I can say. No matter who you put him in the ring with, he does his job. It's all up to the opponent. And The Miz, I didn't think he would be able to step up to Gunther, but he did. The Miz brought it. There were actually a few moments, not one or two, a few moments, I thought The Miz was going to win. He was actually bringing it to Gunther. It blew my mind. Really good match. This match went on for 12 minutes. It could have went on for another 12 minutes, and I wouldn't have been mad at it. Gunther retains his Intercontinental Championship, continuing his historic run as the Intercontinental Champion when he defeats The Miz by submission. Gunther versus The Miz gets 4.5 stars. Thought it was one of the best matches of the night. Honestly, it was that good. shocked even. I straight up shocked that it was that good. And now I think it's time to put to bed the narrative that The Miz is not one of the best sports entertainers. I'm not going to say the best wrestler, but the best sports entertainers in the world. He really is. Because no matter what storyline or what gimmick it is, The Miz is going to give it 100%. It is always, getting somebody else over. It's not so much him. He doesn't care. He's just there to do his job, and he does it well. I am super impressed with The Miz, and you really have to look back on all of the matches he has had throughout his tenure at the WWE. He has brought it, really. Even if he was there to do the job, he did the job well, and he didn't really make himself look bad doing it. He got a guy over without sacrificing his legacy, I guess you could say. And so hats off to The Miz. I just want to give him his flowers, man. I really want to give him his flowers, because this was the match to really it could have been a squash match, and I would have been mad because you could believe it. You can believe it, but you also believed throughout this match that The Miz was up for the challenge, and he really did bring it. Our next match on the card was a singles match, and it was a semi-grudge match between Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee got thrown into the mix after Santos Escobar injured Carlito on SmackDown the night before. Now, I guess Carlito was injured and they found out, so they had to play the injury angle, and they kind of threw Dragon Lee into the mix last minute, because that's the way this match felt. It wasn't any build up to it, because this happened the night before. It was supposed to be Carlito, but so it was all right. This was probably the weakest. No, my next one is going to be the weakest, but not by much. And it wasn't bad. It just was weak, because it was no emotional attachment to this. Kind of upset that they threw Dragon Lee in the mix, because I was, Dragon Lee is awesome. So I didn't really want him to do the job for Santos Escobar, but they're pushing Santos Escobar for more. And I'm cool with that, because I like him as well. But it was a whatever match. It was only 7 minutes long, and Santos Escobar came out with the victory. It was in. It was in. And the singles match between Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee gets 3 stars. It was just average. It was all right. It was an all right match. But our next match really let me down. I was really disappointed with this one, and it was for the Women's World Championship, with Rhea Ripley defending said championship against Zoe Stark. Man, you talking about a letdown. Because Zoe Stark is another one. Since she been called up from NXT, I've been really excited, liked her in NXT. She's doing a real good job when they teamed her up with Trish Stratus. Her feud with Becky Lynch was pretty awesome. I'm telling you, I was really excited. Now, I wasn't shocked by this outcome, because at no point did I suspect that Zoe Stark would defeat Rhea Ripley, but I wanted her to give a good showing here, to show that maybe down the line she will be the one to take the belt off of Rhea Ripley, or Io Sky, whatever the case may be. But we didn't get this here. It was a few botches in this match that was uncharacteristic of a Rhea Ripley match, because Rhea Ripley, as dominant of a women's wrestler that she is very, how can I put this, giving in a match. She'll let her opponent get a little shine, and really put them over. Think back to once again, think back to Backlash in Puerto Rico just earlier this year when she took on Zelina Vega. Nobody, and I mean nobody, including Zelina Vega's mother, thought that Zelina Vega was going to defeat Rhea Ripley. There is no way on God's green earth. But you got to give a ton of respect to Rhea Ripley for giving Zelina her moment. She gave her her moment to the point where, you know, Zelina looked like she could have defeated her at one point. It was close. And Rhea Ripley realized that she was Rhea Ripley and riptide. You know, I love that about Rhea Ripley. You know, she doesn't bury anybody, and she really does a good job at that. And she didn't bury Zoe Stark here. It just they didn't have much chemistry in the ring and didn't tell a story. And it was a blah match, really blah. And it went a little too long, if you ask me. It went 9 minutes long, and it was about 7 of those 9 were super boring. It's super boring. There was no excitement in this match at all. Rhea Ripley retains her World's Women's Championship by defeating Zoe Stark by pinfall. I give this match 2.5 stars. It was very disappointing. That's about as kind as I can put it. So on to our main event, and this is the men's War Games match where we have the Judgment Day, which consists of Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, and JD Madonna, along with Drew McIntyre, taking on the babyface team of Cody Rhodes, Seth freaking Rollins, Jey Uso, and the Viper, Randy Orton. This was a good match. I would say this was on par with the women's War Games match. Not much excitement there, but it was good. It was really good. The build up to Randy Orton coming back, it was teased throughout the pay-per-view or the premium live event. Did it again. The premium live event that Randy Orton wasn't there. And so it was dissension in the team. You know, Seth is mad at Cody. Like, I trusted you. You know, I thought he was coming, blah, blah, blah. Jey Uso, he's upset because he is the reason, well, one of the reasons Randy Orton has been out for close to 2 years because the bloodline or the one that took him out. And so he's like, oh, he's not coming because, you know, because of me and this, that, and the third. Sammy is trying to talk him off the ledge. It was a lot there. So that was good. I like that little build up. So when the match starts, Randy Orton isn't there, which means that team is outmanned by the Judgment Day, along with Drew McIntyre. So, all right, that's good. We building some tension here. And so as the Judgment Day gets the upper hand and there's no Randy Orton, it was the perfect time for Damian Priest to cash in his Money in the Bank championship. And so Rhea Ripley comes out with the briefcase. They're about to cash it in. And all of a sudden, I hear voices in my head. The music hits and Randy Orton returns and foils Damian Priest's plan to cash in the Money in the Bank championship on Seth freaking Rollins. It was a genius plan, but it didn't work out. And so we get so much action after that. Randy Orton looked like he hasn't missed a step. We get an RKO to JD Madonna, who was thrown off of the top of the cage into the RKO. Beautifully done. Cody Rhodes hits the crossroads on Damian Priest and gets the 1, 2, 3. Epic end to this match. Like I said, decent. It gets the same rating as the women's War Games match. I think they're pretty much the same match, with less furniture involved. There weren't any tables involved in this one. I don't think. Nah, there weren't any tables involved in this one. They had about 50 kendo sticks, but in a lead pipe that came out of nowhere. But yeah, it was fun though. It was a fun match. Drew McIntyre storms out of the cage and storms to the back. We'll touch in on that a little later, but it was a great end to the night. Great end. Nice way to end a pay-per-view. I thought that all the matches were pretty decent. Even the ones I didn't like. The women's world championship and the Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee match. They weren't the best matches. I'll put it this way. Let me put it like this. I probably should have said it when I was talking about their matches. Those were Raw SmackDown matches, if you get where I'm coming from. Those weren't pay-per-view matches. They felt like Raw or SmackDown matches, something you could have watched for free on TV, other than this premium live event. That's the way I felt. That's why I didn't too much care for them. But they were decent. Awesome. And we get the celebration in the ring. Cody Rhodes music is playing, and all of a sudden, Cult of Personality interrupts the music. And and I'm like, wait, are you serious? No, they trolling us. WWE is wrong for this. Because let's not forget, CM Punk was just fired from AEW, 3 months ago? About 3 months ago. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. And all of a sudden, he walks out, and the pop from that crowd. Granted, it was in Chicago, but this could have been in Cancun somewhere. This could have been in Walla Walla, Washington. It didn't matter. This got the pop of the century. Like I was saying to start off this show, if you can find a greater return to WWE, please let me know. Because I cannot think of one. I've been trying to think of one for the past 2 days. Can't think of one. This was epic in every sense of the word. I mean, he came out, he did his clobbering time and celebrated with the crowd. Just amazing. He returned an image that I thought I would never see. I thought I would see John Moxley before I saw CM Punk come back to WWE. And I mean John Moxley coming back as Dean Ambrose. I never thought I would see this. But the internet went crazy when all of the videos started coming out. When we saw Seth Rollins lose his collective mind when when CM Punk came out. I mean, he's cursing them out. He's being held back by Michael Cole, and he's shooting the bird. He's doing all this stuff, and everybody was like, "Man, is this real? Is this a shoot or is it a work?" And in case you don't know, a shoot is real. A work means that it's choreographed, scripted. I knew immediately it was a work for the simple fact that Michael Cole was the one holding Seth Rollins back. Now, if it was Corey Graves, I probably would have believed it, but it was Michael Cole, and I said, "This is about as fake as you could get." Now, everything else looked real. Now, I was debating. Don't get me wrong, but to be honest with you, this is more of a shoot work. This is because there is some real tension there. If you go back and listen to some interviews that Seth Rollins had said about CM Punk, and he was asked if how does he feel if how would he feel if CM Punk came back and he was like, nah, stay gone. We don't need him. He's a cancer and all this other stuff. He act, but that ain't the first and last time he said anything about CM Punk. There's real tension there, so don't get it twisted. But I knew that this was best for business. They're just setting this up for a feud, and it's you know reports have come out that indeed this is a work. This is part of the plan to start this feud, which is I think genius. This is a good first feud to start off with, or dare I say, great. I mean, think about it. Who is the best worker in WWE? Uh, AJ Styles aside, you would say Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is the uh poor man's CM Punk, to be honest with you. If you want to get to the nuts and bolts of it all, I know if he hears this, he's gonna probably go off, but it's the truth. He's a poor man's CM Punk, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love Seth Rollins, but I love CM Punk too. CM Punk has been doing it forever, and uh, the way they work in the ring and their promos, man. Can you imagine their promos against each other? Oh my God, it's gonna be epic. I can't wait for when the trigger is actually pulled on this feud. It's gonna be exciting, people. It is going to be exciting. But yeah, that was Survivor Series. That was the return of CM Punk. Might as well mention the Monday night promo, the Monday night after Raw. Uh, I don't know the ratings. I'm pretty sure it was through the roof because everybody was anticipating CM Punk speaking for the first time because he didn't speak at the pay-per-view, at the premium live event. And I know everybody was dying. I know because I was dying to hear it. But first, we had to find out about Drew McIntyre. Now, the Drew McIntyre of it all, him storming out of Survivor Series, that was a shoot. That was real. He was really mad. He left the arena, stormed out. He actually stormed out. I don't know what happened, but apparently, according to reports, he indeed was upset about something. Whatever took place was ironed out either Sunday and throughout the day, Monday, and everything's hunky dory now. He's good because he did show up to Raw. He did challenge Seth Rollins for that championship yet again, and had a nice little setup with that. I would love to see how that go. Also, we got to hear from Randy Orton. That was one of the first orders of business on Raw. Randy Orton spoke for the first time. He got emotional, got me emotional. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of touched that he returned, and he was confronted by Rhea Ripley and all this here, only to get jumped by the Judgment Day. But before that, he did say he has unfinished business with the Bloodline, which is interesting. Because let's not forget, Jey Uso is on Raw with him. So he was part of the Bloodline when the assault took place, I guess you could say. And so the beatdown with Judgment Day leads to a match later on with Randy Orton and Dominic Mysterio. And so now, as we're speeding forward towards the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania season, there are some big feuds that's about to start getting set up. And we get Shinsuke Nakamura attacking Cody Rhodes. This was the one that Shinsuke has been teasing for the past few weeks, that he wanted to fight and whatnot, but it was actually Cody Rhodes. A lot of people speculated that was CM Punk he was talking about, but it's actually Cody Rhodes, which is good. I like that. That's a nice feud. It's a nice feud because I never pictured that. Never pictured that feud. And I'm excited to see how that go. And the feud with Seth and Drew McIntyre is still going on. And I think that's part of the problem that Drew McIntyre had. I think in his mind, he probably thinking, I don't have any inside sources on this, but I'm just trying to think as if I was Drew McIntyre. He most likely thought that he was going to be pushed to the side for this Seth Rollins CM Punk feud because he's in this hunt for the championship, for the heavyweight championship. And so he probably got mad about that. And I can see that. But apparently they must have told him that, no, you're still in the hunt for that. We're not pushing that yet. Because I believe the Seth CM Punk of it all, that's WrestleMania level. I think that's more of a WrestleMania match. They're not going to waste that on a flimsy little premium live event. And so they're going to save that for something bigger. And so we're good in that regard. But the show did close with CM Punk. CM Punk comes out and he addresses his return. And I love this promo. It felt like it was from the heart. It felt real. And once again, just like I never thought I would see him step out to cult the personality at a WWE premium live event, I never thought I would get the words that he actually said in this promo. He actually said in this promo. Now, if he was lying, if it's a lie, he told it. But he actually said, I'm home. You know, and he admitted himself. He didn't think he would feel this way when he came back, but he did. Now, I believe him. I honestly believe him. You know, he went away. He tried MMA. It didn't work. He tried the competition. It didn't work. And reality set in. You know what? We all have our problems. It's like being at home. You know, it's like being at home. We may have our problems with our significant other. We may stray. But we figure out real quick, I got it better at home. I got it better at home. And so I might as well stay at home. Or the old adage, it's cheaper to keep her. And so, yeah, man, you got that. And it came from his heart and I felt it. But he did leave on this nugget. He said that everybody is happy. They love that he's back in the back, you know, all of the people behind the scenes, all of the wrestlers, the locker room, everybody is embracing him, but not everybody. There is somebody that is upset, and that is the little setup for the Seth Rollins feud. And he basically told him, yeah, y'all been trying to be the best in the world, but you can't be the best in the world because the best in the world haven't been here for 10 years. And you're afraid. And that's what, you know, and when you hear him say it, you're like, man, man, that is, you cutting deep, man. You are cutting deep on this one. And so that was cool. He also left, his last words was, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. Oh, yep, that's CM Punk. And so yeah, that's been the WWE in the past few days. Very exciting time. The future looks bright. You know, we still have a lot to look forward to, man. There's still Jade Cargill. You know, whenever she comes, I think they saving her for the Royal Rumble. She may enter the Royal Rumble and win it. You heard it here first. I have a gut feeling that that's what's gonna happen. But yeah, man, and even more. I think even more could come back to WWE because they see the change. They see the change. This isn't the same company. This isn't Vince running the show. You know, this is Triple H. Is Endeavor, is this new company, is not your daddy's WWF. This is a new day. And I'm excited for it. Can't wait to see what happens next. But did you enjoy Survivor Series War Games? And how do you feel about CM Punk returning to the WWE? Do you think he will behave himself this time? And do you think AJ Lee can join him and come back? I miss AJ. AJ was a beast. AJ was before her time, people. She really was. AJ had the unfortunate luck of being in the WWE when the Divas era was going on. And her competition was meh. You had the Bella twins, man. That was her big competition. It wasn't much. I would love to see her in this WWE against these crop of female wrestlers. This would be awesome. But I don't know if that's in her to come back or not. I don't know. But hey, if anything's possible, obviously anything's possible. Her husband came back. If her husband can come back, anybody can come back. But anyway, I would like to know your thoughts. You can email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also look me up on all social media platforms. Just look up the KB Radio Network. Also, the KB Radio Network channel on YouTube. Subscribe and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to Faces and Heels here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this recap, review, and reaction to the return of the best in the world, CM Punk. Can't wait to speak to you on the next go around. Until then, all of y'all be good and be blessed.